Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video session on daily news and editorial analysis dated 9th of December. Through this video session, I'll be discussing the important news and editorial both from the Hindu and Indian Express. The analysis in this session of the news will help all the aspirants who will be appearing for the Civil Services examination, State Public Service Commission examination, and various one-day examination conducted by various agencies. So through this session, we'll see the relevance of this article, its importance from the examination perspective. Let's get started. First, I'll tell you the highlights of the news. Then we'll proceed with a detailed analysis of the news one by one. So the first important news is about the recent changes that has been brought in by the RBI regarding the UPI payment limits. We'll see specifically where the changes has been brought in, where the hospitality sector and the educational sector has been allowed. Second important news talks about the US FDA approval to the therapies for the sickle cell anemia, the sickle cell disease specifically. The third important news talks about the new draft climate which seeks to come up with the renewable energy and reducing the pass of fossil fuels. The second last news talks about the center decision to ban the export of onion. We have seen that the price of onion has been taking a surge across India. So this is a precautionary measures which government has actually taken. And the last is an editorial that talks about the deficit between India and Sri Lanka. There are a lot of efforts that has been made through MOUs, but the actual executions lack in real-time basis. So we'll see detail to this article and understand how the best possible way out can be there between India and Sri Lanka. Let's get started with a detailed analysis of the news one by one. So the first important news, it's about the RBI that has enhanced the UPI payment limits. So RBI ने recently जो UPI की payment limits है, specifically for the two sector, they have actually increased this limit. This first is for hospitality and other is for the education sectors. So what are the detail, what are the changes that has been brought in by the Reserve Bank of India or the Central Bank of India RBI? आरबीआई ने कहा है कि जो यूपीआई की पेमेंट है will allow the consumer to make higher payment in educational payment as well as for the medical purpose. So for this specifically 1 lakh की limit थी. The limit was for 1 lakh rupees. Now it has been increased from 1 to 5 lakh rupees. तो 5 lakh rupees की जो लिमिट है वो बढ़ा दी गई है स्पेसिफिकली एजुकेशनल और मेडिकल पर्पसेस के लिए. दिस कैन बी अगेन इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन फॉर द प्रीलिम्स एग्जामिनेशन. एंड इवन इफ यू व्हेन इट कम्स टू यूपीआई एनपीसीआई जो है उसके बारे में भी आपको बेसिक्स पता होना चाहिए. दिस इज एन अम्ब्रेला बॉडी विच टेक केयर फॉर द एंटायर पेमेंट एंड सेटलमेंट इन द कंट्री. आई हैव ऑलरेडी मेड अ डिस्कशन टू एनपीसीआई वे सेवरल टाइम्स, बट जस्ट टू गिव यू अ रिमाइंडर, अगर आपने नहीं देखा है तो आप एनपीसीआई के पेज में जा करके अबाउट अस भी पढ़ सकते हैं. Now the current UPI transactions limit, initially as I've told you, it is like 1 lakh rupees. This for normal any transaction that you're making peer-to-peer transaction, this is a limit has been capped by the RBI to 1 lakh rupees, right? For some specific transactions, अगर बात करें इंश्योरेंस की, फॉरेन इनवर्ड रेमिटेंसेस की जो ट्रांजेक्शंस लिमिट है वो 2 लाख रुपीस तक है. और आईपीओ के लिए दैट इज इनिशियल पब्लिक ऑफरिंग बाय एनी स्टॉक और द म्यूचुअल फंड हाउसेस, रिटेल डायरेक्ट स्कीम के लिए ये रुपीज 5 लाख पर ट्रांजेक्शन थी. सो दीज आर द करंट लिमिट्स विच हैज बीन देयर, राइट. अभी सिर्फ गवर्नमेंट ने जो 5 लाख रुपीज बढ़ाई है दैट इज फॉर एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशंस and for hospital sector, right? Now e-mandate for recurring deposits or recurring payment has also been enhanced. RBI ने कहा है कि जो digital payments हैं that actually call for e-mandate, right? E-mandate is a mandatory provision which a customer do to ensure that the payment for every month is deducted from his account which is mandated. तो recurring deposit के लिए या recurring payments के लिए 1 लाख रुपीस तक रखी गई है, जो कि इनिशियली अभी सिर्फ 15,000 रुपीस थी. एंड दिस विल ऑल्सो 1 lakh rupees is for recurring payments and 15,000 has been increased for mutual fund, term premium and credit card payments. So now you can proceed with a UPI payment exceeding this limit. The RBI governor has also said the new measures will further accelerate the e-mandate. जो e-mandates हैं basically लिमिट कम होने की वजह से कई लोग ई मैंडेट्स को एक्चुअल में यूज नहीं करते थे ना. Now, with the increase in the limit, many people will definitely find it feasible and very easy to use the UPI payments, right? Now, moving ahead with the other news, US FDA has approved the gene therapy for sickle cell disease, something important that will have a lot more advantage to the specific group. तो US की FDA ने Food and Drug Administration जो है US की, they have approved two gene therapy. दो gene therapies उन्होंने approve किया है, and this will be also included with the part of CRISPR and the new era of genetic conditions and genetic, no, the part of treatment that is there. नाउ अप्रूव ट्रीटमेंट्स की अगर बात करें, दो ट्रीटमेंट अप्रूव की गई है. द फर्स्ट ट्रीटमेंट वाज अप्रूव्ड बाय लाइफ इंजीनियर विच इज फ्रॉम द ब्लू बर्ड बायो. ये एक सेपरेट ट्रीटमेंट, और जो दूसरी ट्रीटमेंट है दैट इज बाय कैसगेवी, अ पार्टनर विद वर्टेक्स फार्मास्यूटिकल एंड स्क्रिप्ट टेक्नोलॉजी, सी आर क्रिस्पर जिसे कहते हैं, उस टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ ही मिलकर कोलैबोरेट करेंगे. फर्स्ट अगर बात करें ब्लू बर्ड बायो सिकल सेल थेरेपी की, ये मॉडिफाई करेगी the part of genes that is delivered via the disabled, and it will enable the patients with the RBC जो red blood cell है. I'll tell you what are the problem which is there in the sickle cell. We'll look into that. और इसमें जो red blood cell है वो नॉर्मल हीमोग्लोबिन से रिप्लेस की जाएगी. और जो दूसरी टेक्नोलॉजी जो जीन थेरेपी अप्रूव की गई है दैट इज द वर्टेक्स थेरेपी विच इन्वॉल्व द हार्वेस्टिंग ऑफ स्टेम सेल्स. स्टेम सेल इज अगेन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट इन ह्यूमन बॉडी. इट कैन गिव यू द अनदर ऑर्गन. स्टेम सेल्स के थ्रू बहुत सारे इंपॉर्टेंट फंक्शंस बॉडी के रेगुलेट की जा सकती है. द पेशेंट्स बोन मैरो में स्टेम सेल्स निकाली जाएंगी, एंड इवन एडिटिंग विल बी डन विद द क्रिस्पर और Cas9 technology. I have already made a discussion to Cas9 technology in detail. Do check out that video. And then infusing modified cell by making patient for a longer term hospitalized. ये थोड़ी लंबी है durations, but again both of them having the equal, the part of outcome which is there will be feasibly equal. Now therapies were approved by USDVA for the people age group between 12 and older. तो 12 साल से ऊपर के जो बच्चे हैं उनके लिए ही ये ट्रीटमेंट इनिशियली अप्रूव की गई. Now about the sickle cell disease, as we are discussing the part of therapy for the sickle cell disease, आपको बेसिक्स पता होना चाहिए कि सिकल सेल है क्या. सिकल सेल is basically a genetic disorder where the red blood cell causing them to adopt a sickle cell, a sickle shape actually. So this is a normal blood cell. I'll show you a diagram also. और ये है सिकल सेल की शेप इस तरह से हो जाती है. They can lead to various complications, pain, anemia and organ damage. The conditions is caused by the mutation of the hemoglobin gene that is inherited from both parents, right? Now you can look at the picture here, so it will give you more clarity how the sickle cell actually look like, right? So this is the normal condition. This is the normal part of the cells which is there, right? ये RBCs and these are the RBC red blood cells. These are the normal erythrocytes. और sickle cell की आप shape देख सकते हो, because out of its shape it is called sickle cell, and this is where the sickle cell come up, and it has the less oxygen, it has less part of blood vessels which is rising, and it create a lot of problems to the patients. Now government of India की specifically बात करें, this was about the drugs that was approved, but I wanted to give you another dimension to this. इंडिया में स्पेसिफिकली 2047 तक सिकल सेल एनीमिया को ख़त्म करने के लिए गवर्नमेंट ने एक नई मिशन लाई है इस बार के बजट में. सो दिस इज अगेन इम्पॉर्टेंट फॉर प्रॉब्लम्स एज वेल, एंड दिस एम्स टू क्रिएट अवेयरनेस फॉर पब्लिक हेल्थ वर्कर प्रिवेंशन एंड मैनेजमेंट ऑफ द सिकल सेल. It will reduce the morbidity and mortality, and it will also contribute to the achievement of sustainable development goal जो SDG के टारगेट हैं, जहाँ पे हेल्थ, एजुकेशन और सोशल इंक्लूजन की बात की है, इंडिया को उसको अचीव करने में भी मदद मिलेगी. The other important news is about the new climate draft that seeks to tripling of the renewable energy capacity. Something very important. हर एक दिन आपको COP 28 की कुछ ना कुछ न्यूज़ मिलेगी. This is again important for both prelims and mains examination. So make sure you're making a separate note for COP 28 which is there at UAE in Dubai. इस बार के लेटेस्ट ड्राफ्ट जो ग्लोबल स्टॉक टेक है वहाँ पे की डॉक्यूमेंट साइन किए गए, जहाँ पे रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी को लेकर के उससे फेज आउट करने की बात की है और टाइम बाउंड मैनर पे फॉसिल फ्यूल की रिडक्शंस की बात की है. स्पेसिफिकली टू हाईलाइट एंड ऐड ऑन दिस पॉइंट, इंडिया हैज एक्चुअली नॉट साइंड दिस एग्रीमेंट, because we are using most of the fossil fuel from the hospitality sector and other sector, and India is a country where we will be looking forward to reduce, but हमने इसे अभी साइन नहीं किया because हमारी अपनी डोमेस्टिक ऑब्लिगेशंस भी काफ़ी ज़्यादा है. Now, tripling renewable energy capacity की अगर बात करें, COP 28 में ये this was a dominant topic which was there on the fossil fuel economy. The conference aims to triple the renewable energy capacity by 2030. India, through its Pancha Amrit initiative, has also called for coming up with this. And this increase in the capacity is strategically displace the fossil fuel energy. जो भी fossil fuels energy हैं उनको कम करने के लिए और जो clean energy है उनके साथ आगे बढ़ने की बात की गई है, right? The unchanged from earlier version of the text calls for the rapid phase out to unbeaten coal power. Coal की reductions, coal के uses में गिरावट करने की बात की है so that the CO2, the carbon emissions should be less at the global level. Now, what is climate finance? This was actually not defined. India ने इसको लेकर के भी काफ़ी बातें कही हैं. India has been asking to define what actually the part of climate finance mean. India feels that there's a big lacuna in terms of negotiation. Despite the border जो needs हैं, जो ज़रूरतें हैं transition economy की renewable energy में, as India said that they will be moving for the clean energy. Clean energy में आगे बढ़ने के लिए ज़रूरत हो कि जो किस तरह के small portions जो promised हैं, I mean even for the developing economy, they should be actual defined कि climate finance में उनको कितनी funding मिल रही है. So the funding part is even not clear. The contribution that will be made from the different countries has yet not been decided, right? So the lack of clarity still persists in the terms of financing, and lack of definition also lead to the lack of trust and transparency in the matter and the entire gamut of thing how it will be actually executed. Now, moving ahead with the other news, central government has actually banned the export of onion amid the price surge across the country. The food inflation जिस तरह से बढ़ रही है उसको ध्यान में रखते हुए, and we have seen that Rabi and Kharif harvest which was there not very well. So government ने decide किया है that till 31st of March next, that is 2024, government has actually said that they will not allow the export of onion to ensure that the prices are stable in the domestic market. Now protest against that decision, and just to add on this, RBI ने फूड इन्फ्लेशंस को लेकर के भी अपनी एंटिसिपेशंस बताई हैं कि आने वाले समय में फूड इन्फ्लेशंस बढ़ भी सकती है. सो दिस पर्टिकुलर डिसीजन बाय द गवर्नमेंट हैज एक्चुअली मेड अ प्रोटेस्ट इन महाराष्ट्र. नासिक was a hub actually. नासिक की अगर बात करें, नासिक इज अ हब फॉर द ओनियन प्रोडक्शंस, और वहाँ पे काफ़ी बड़ी APMC है जो मंडी है, राइट? सो दिस इज समथिंग विच इज़ देयर. The part of prices which is fluctuating 1000 to 1200 per quintal and being sold at 3000 rupees per quintal as of now. These values are not important, but just to give you the trend. Now on June 12th, the food minister has said that they will be imposing their stock holding on different kind of traders till March 2024. तो किसी भी तरह की stocking को भी allow नहीं किया जाएगा to ensure that it is there in the marketplace and no black holding take place. Now, onion export की अगर बात करें, there are certain varieties of types of onion that is being exported. The kind of export which is there, 70% जो export है वो fresh होती है, dehydrated 23% है और other 6.15% है. कुछ areas जहाँ पे सबसे ज़्यादा productions होते हैं, महाराष्ट्र is the state which has a top onion production and exporter. उसके अलावा वेस्ट बंगाल, तमिलनाडु, कर्नाटका and गुजरात. Make sure you remember this. ये basic prelims के लिए भी important है. जिन बच्चों की geography optional है उनको ये पता होगा, right? So these are some of the important part that you need to know. These are the data for the import, and India is the onion exporter. Malaysia is the largest importer countries. Now moving ahead with the editorial, bridge the deficit between India and Sri Lanka. There are a lot of goodwill gestures coming from India when it comes to Sri Lanka, but बहुत सारी ऐसे negotiation है जो कि stand still है. We need to make a progress on that, and despite the fact the several effort made by both countries, the ground reality seems to be different. So उस पे काम करने की ज़रूरत है, ये बताया गया है इस आर्टिकल में. So what I'll be looking first, we'll see the case of power grid. Power grid पे भी जो negotiation जो MOU sign हुई है that has not been finally executed. Trade and tourism देखेंगे किस तरह से दोनों countries के बीच में, and we'll conclude with the way forward. So Sri Lanka president ने recently announced किया था proposal for the land connectivity between India and call it for a timely development. Why timely development? Because कई ऐसे MOU साइन हुए हैं between India and Sri Lanka that has not been finally executed, right? इससे पहले 20 years ago, if you look at the data, I mean 20 years ago, 2 decades ago, रामेश्वरम in Tamil Nadu and Telilamannar in Sri Lanka, North Province जो है, वहाँ पे भी मीटिंग हुई थी, इसके बारे में बातें हुई थी, but there is no final execution. So this has taken a longer vision for economic integrations with the southern state India that aims to generate more opportunity and economic growth with the part of infrastructure development, with the part of trade and investment between the countries, because Tamil Nadu is a country which is again immediately benefited with any negotiation coming between India and Sri Lanka. सो दिसंबर 15 में जो रोड ट्रांसपोर्ट मिनिस्टर है उन्होंने बताया लोकसभा में कि जो एशियन डेवलपमेंट बैंक है द एडीबी बैंक हैज एक्चुअली फंडेड 24,000 करोड़ रुपीस फॉर ब्रिज प्रोजेक्ट, बट अगेन जो फाइनल एग्जीक्यूशन है दैट हैज बीन डिलेड. श्रीलंका response was subdued and companies with a strong criticism have been there with the project opponents. बहुत सारे उनके डोमेस्टिक प्रॉब्लम पॉलिसीज की वजह से ये प्रॉब्लम को फाइनलाइज नहीं किया गया, इस प्रोजेक्ट को एक्चुअल में फाइनलाइज नहीं किया गया. The case of power grid, if you look at the data from the power grid perspective, infrastructure development के अलावा जो power grid sector है वो काफ़ी I mean दोनों countries के बीच में एक important segment की bonding की है. The concept of linking the electricity noteworthy was posed as 1970 despite the MOU that was signed 13 years ago. You can see the delay that is there. This is what has been highlighted in the article. 13 ईयर की डिले यहाँ पे है, 20 ईयर की डिले जो रोड प्रोजेक्ट थी वहाँ पे हुई थी, तो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी में भी कोई बहुत ज़्यादा खासा प्रोग्रेस नहीं देखा गया. They have been constantly exported 77,000 million unit annually to Bangladesh. और ट्रांजिशन नेटवर्क जिसमें 1000 मेगावाट ट्रांसफर की बात की गई थी, हाई वोल्टेज करंट लिंकेज फ्रॉम मदुरई टू श्रीलंका was also witness a slow progress. So these are the part of project which has been put on hold and the anticipated progress was not made. So both countries must prioritize and meet to 2030 deadline. Now trade and tourism की बात करें, India and Sri Lanka definitely have a free trade agreement. FTA में they have actually signed in 1998. और दोनों countries ने despite holding the talks for the year have come up with the economic technology and cooperations. But quite the year like 5 सालों से negotiation जो है वो resumed अभी हुई है, but we have been waiting to do things more. If you look at economy conditions of Sri Lanka, it was not good. Recently पिछले कुछ 2 सालों से वहाँ पे economic conditions काफ़ी खराब रही हैं. Inflation rate was close to 40%, right? And the country was not able to maintain the part of inflation. तो वहाँ पे काफ़ी ज़्यादा problems हुई है. अगर tourism की बात करें, it's a major source for revenue for Sri Lanka. India की जो presence है, Indian diaspora, specifically for tourism, contributes a lot to Sri Lanka GDP में. And it's the largest single country with tourist arrival being 17% of the overall numbers on the arrival. जितने total visitor वहाँ पे जाते हैं, जो tourist जाते हैं, वो 17% जो है वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ Indian visitors हैं. Now the way forward, Sri Lanka is known for their smooth power transition and that should not be hindered by any historical baggage. अगर recent development की बात करें, there are a lot of progress. और इंडिया ने लाइन ऑफ क्रेडिट, इंडिया ने स्पेसिफिकली जो लाइन ऑफ क्रेडिट है वो भी दी है श्रीलंका को टू मेक अ इकोनॉमिक प्रोग्रेस एंड कम बैक. एंड देयर हैव बीन रीजन दैट व्हाई श्रीलंका वंस विewed एज अ हाई स्टैंडर्ड विद अ स्टेबल इकोनॉमी शुड आल्सो कीप इन मेकिंग दिस रियलिटी. जो एक्चुअल में उनकी कोर आइडिया थी, जो एसओपीज थी, जो उन्होंने एक बेसिकली अपना एक टैगलाइन बनाया या फिर जो स्टेचर बनाया था, उसे मेंटेन करने की जरूरत है. द रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन इंडिया एंड श्रीलंका where the infrastructure development like energy trade must be kept with a deeper understanding, with a deeper practicality, and what to do it and how to execute it must be taken into consideration. The delay which is there for quite long should actually be it should be actually not be in a hinder or linked upon. तो ये ज़रूरी है कि दोनों कंट्रीज मिलकर काम करें, जो MOU साइन की गई हैं उसकी एक्चुअल में एग्जीक्यूशन हो. ऐसे प्रोजेक्ट जो दोनों कंट्री को म्यूचुअली बेनिफिट करते हैं उसकी एग्जीक्यूशन जल्द से जल्द करने की जरूरत है. Now moving ahead with the answers discussion for yesterday questions, कल के जो सवाल हैं उसके फर्स्ट ऑप्शंस के करेक्ट ऑप्शन है A. So this you can check. The part of options 3 is incorrect. I've asked about the questions from the Amazon River Dolphin. These are some of the important questions from the environment point of view for the prelims examination. Now the second question was about the NMDC. यहाँ पे options B है, जो statement 1 है वो incorrect है और statement 2 is correct. So world low cost iron out producers. So this is something which is important. Now, MCQ question for today. The first question is about the influenza. It was there in news. It's often referred as bird flu. The detect and cull policy for the National Action Plan has been prevented with a part of highly pathogenic influenza, avian influenza. India has witnessed an outbreak of the pathogen that is H5N1 and H5N8. I have already made a discussion in our daily news and editorial analysis. मुझे नो आई एक्सपेक्ट दैट मोस्ट ऑफ यू मस्ट बी अवेयर ऑफ दिस टू पार्टिसिपेट इन द क्वेश्चन आंसर आपको कुछ नहीं करना आपको कमेंट सेक्शन में क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 लिखने हैं एंड देन यू हैव टू सिंपली चूज योर करेक्ट ऑप्शन those of you individual who will be writing your answers I'll be highlighting that comment in the next discussion. The second question of the day is about the thallium. Thallium is a non-metal with a no taste, no color. Thallium has been restricted due to its toxicity. हिंदू में पूरी detailed report publish की गई थी. So make sure you check out the entire details. Sometime things that has been reported in the newspaper directly come up in the examination. Participate करने के लिए question number 2 लिखें. उसके बाद जो आपके correct options हैं वो लिख करके comment section में ज़रूर बताएं. So this was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis, followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, queries about test series, admissions and programs, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for staying connected.